Tune in if you want to hear. So we have Chad, Josh, Dmitri, and Marcus every Friday.
It's the Square Round Table.
Tune in.
It's the Square Round Table podcast. Let's have a blast. I know at work you had a long day. Just relax and tune in.
All right, welcome our freaks and geeks to another Marcus and D's review of the week. This week we're going to be reviewing the season finale, but the whole Bad Batch as a whole. We're going to be reviewing the whole Bad Batch season or show, with the end of the season ending or series ending last week. It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Marcus, what were your thoughts of the Bad Batch as a whole of the show? Like, how is it stacking up for you?
As a whole series, it was a good story. Like I always say, I always like the stories about the common folk or the soldiers and people who are not Jedi and they struggling with the ordeals of Order 66 and the Empire. You get to see that side of it. It's the real politics of it and how it's affecting people's everyday lives. And that's why I say I always like Endor. But as a whole, it was good. I would say the first and the third season was the strongest seasons. What was this? The third?
I want to say, this is season 3. I want to say it was three. Yeah, it was 3 seasons. Yeah, because season 2 was him getting. I think Crosshair came back in season 3, didn't he? I want to say he came back in season 2. Season 1 was them going from Order 66 to them kind of being their own thing in Crosshair and them having their kind of battle and this, that, the other, and them separating. Season 2, we lost. That season ended with us losing Tech. And Crosshair wasn't even in that season. He was there, but he wasn't with us at that point.
Yeah, he was working.
Season 3 was the finale, was the final season. So it was in 3 seasons.
Okay.
So I think honestly, the second season wasn't horrible. Like, it started off like more of the day, like not day of the week, like the slow mission of the week kind of thing. Like
that's
kind of padding it.
That's why I meant the first and third seasons, the first and last season were the strongest. Because like you said, that second season, it was like, all right, this is the heist of the week. We got to go do this run and do this run. And I was like, here we go with typical Star Wars shit.
Yeah, they weren't like horribly boring missions or nothing, but
they weren't
what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the Crosshair versus the Bad Batch and the Empire or something like that. We wanted to see those like bigger moments, which we did get, but they were sprinkled in between like side missions.
Yeah, and I was like, no, man, give us the whole 9 yards, man. This is what we paying for. Disney Plus, that's what we paying for, man.
I'm paying for the plus, man. Where's the plus?
Exactly. But I will say this, since the last season 3 is what we most recently just watched, I felt like the finale wasn't a finale, if that makes sense to you. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, what it did is it felt like it was setting up for like another series or something like that. Like they left it like the last felt like they were gonna go. Omega was gonna go, and they were gonna have another series for Omega and how like early Rebel days and her perspective, which is fine. Like I would love an Omega led series. Like she's definitely one of my favorite characters for the Bad Batch because she gets stuff done. Like she doesn't just sit around.
No, she does. I love Omega.
Yeah,
it's cool to see her. I think that's another thing that I liked about the series is that we got to see female versions of the clones with her, the doctor, her sister.
Her sister, her older sister, yeah. And I liked seeing their perspective of her perspective of seeing how her older sister's perspective of what she did, like how that changed her from going from being like, oh, they're just clones or whatever like that. We're different. I'm different from them. And Omega kind of going, those are your brothers. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you cool with doing this? Those are your people. And that kind of festering in her mind throughout the season and her making that final decision to after seeing those kids to make the decision to help out Echo and stuff like that. That was really cool.
I gotta ask you this, Dundee.
Yeah.
I know you think like I do. And when everything was like going to shits, and he was talking to Tarkin, and he was like, "Oh, I'm finna come fix it." I know you thought Vader was coming,
Oh yeah, of course. Whenever
cause you know when it was,
Tarkin starts talking his stuff,
bro.
Vader
No
be,
lie,
be the first person.
I was hoping like, okay, send Vader to like clean house. I'm talking about to kill the stormtroopers, the scientists, and everything. Just clean house because they failed, and take whatever data and go back. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get to see Vader in Clone Wars
Like
style.
early Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, like an early
Yeah,
young Vader. And I was like, oh, we finna get like Vader from the Marvel comics, where he just like
yeah.
ruthless and just taking a whole fleet now. And then when it really was talking, I was like, oh
Yeah,
man.
because here's the thing. Tarkin's all right, but you don't want to see Tarkin. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to see Tarkin. Nobody
like
wants to see
you shiver when you see him.
it.
And
Yeah,
like even honestly, even with the Emperor, like people are scared of the Emperor, but people like shit they pants when they hear Vader. Because they just didn't heard like rumors across the galaxy of what he can do. And they
right?
like, yeah, the Emperor's powerful, but he's just gonna strike us with lightning to death or something. Vader is he'll toy with you and torture you and then kill you. So it's that level of fear. But at the same time, I get why they didn't do it because so many times they rely on Vader, and I guess they
Yeah,
wanted this
it
show to
kind of like
stand on.
not even like his legend, but his like impact.
Yeah, making it feel like he's the red button you gotta push.
Exactly. Oh, we
Yeah,
need to go clean up something. Let's go send Vader to there because
yeah.
Vader strikes fear. But I liked that one. I liked that the entire last two episodes. I was feeling like somebody was gonna die. You know what I mean? Because like
Mhm.
they kept having those real close calls. Like we had a Wrecker get
Dude,
hurt, then we
man,
had
I
Crosshair
was
trying to
like,
sacrifice himself,
I was
and I
like,
was
record
like,
is done, bro.
come on, man, not Wrecker, because he kept getting put in a situation where he was like, I was like, you're gonna check him off.
Man, I kept saying, I was like, bro, he about to die.
That's gonna be I was like, that's gonna be tragic too, and then Hunter
Yeah,
too.
yeah, all of them,
All
bro.
of
No
them.
lie, when they fought them clones or whatever they was, them
Oh,
Project
the
Seed,
sleeper agents,
dude, they was
man,
getting
them sleeper
towed
agents were
up.
crazy, man.
They was getting towed up,
We
bro.
finally got to see Hunter really put somebody on a t-shirt though, because we've been waiting for. And I was
Yeah,
watching some stuff, and I ready to realize from Clone Wars to this, we haven't really seen Hunter or any of them like really be
yeah.
ruthless. And he threw that thing through, oh boy, and shocked him. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, Hunter, let me not talk about you that
I was
way.
like,
You know,
look, I was like, there go Rambo right there.
there
That's
go
Rambo.
Rambo. Let me put some respect on your name real quick.
Yeah, man.
And then Crosshair lost his hand.
His head, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was like, wow. They kept hinting that something was gonna happen to his hand because it was
Mm.
already messed up from when he had that whole mental block thing.
Yeah, and I'm glad
Um,
like that came back around in like the last final moment where he had to save Omega, and he was like, and Hunter was like, "She knows what she's doing. Trust your team, pretty much." And then he did what he had to do and got the shot off, and everything was good. Which I feel like Hemlock was gonna die because his name is Hemlock. That was someone that was on the nose.
bro, so on the nose, so
It
on the
was
nose,
so
and
on
it's
the nose. I was
crazy,
waiting for it.
and it's interesting that you said the trust thing because that was a big part of this whole series. Was
Yeah.
like trust and family and being a team because it played the reason why I say it played a big part because that's how they were able to accept Crosshairs back into
Mm-hmm.
the group because it's
Yeah,
like
what he
okay he
did.
left yeah like he left and did all that and they still was like nah you still our brother
But also it talked about like the bigger theme that I thought about was like the idea of personal choice of like how they got to decide
Mhm,
how they got to decide to live their lives. We thought at the end of
mhm,
the series that all of them lived a peaceful life on whatever that planet, I forget the planet that they
yeah
went to. They got to decide to live that thing because that was a theme that they told Omega early on was like we get to decide what we get to do with our lives now.
yeah because
And
all our
having the
lives we've been soldiers.
exactly. And then the one roundabout moment that came back around was that the clones helped the Bad Batch at the end, but in the beginning they didn't want to have anything to do with the Bad Batch. So
Hmm.
then they decided to work with them, which is taking that whole thing we had in the beginning and flipping it and making it like come back around. they decided, oh, we're gonna fight together, and that's what I wanted to see all season is the clones like rebel. So I'm
Yes,
glad we
bro.
got to see
I love that we got that. And of course, I laughed because I said I wonder what Dimitri. I always be like, I wonder what Dimitri thinks about this because you see that they're trying really hard to fix the new sequels with the cloning stuff and
Yeah.
give us answers. Like they really trying hard to fill in like those gaps and bridge it together.
To make it work.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm glad y'all doing that, and it's good. The show is good, but it's
The
still not
writing is
gonna
good
change.
for it
Yeah,
too. It
it's still
makes
not gonna
sense.
change my output on that.
No, the Palpatine MacGuffin is still gonna be what it is. It's you're explaining it, so it's not like a movie like series like break anymore. But I still don't like it. I still wish they would have had a Kylo Ren Rey
I'm telling
battling
you,
on like
Kylo Ren should have went straight dark side.
he should have. He should have went that path. No redemption. Let it be.
I
You
stand
know?
on that. The thing is, people don't
on
understand.
business, as they say.
People don't understand. They always try to say Vader had a redemption arc, but Vader was the chosen one.
Yeah.
And it had to be for him to be redeemed for him to save his son because his son actually ended up being the chosen one who brought balance to the force until they messed it up with the whole Ray thing and all that. But that's another podcast for another day. But
yeah, that's another podcast for another day.
yeah,
But I think, and I'm glad that Ahsoka really gave, just to hit on that, it gave Anakin his like redemption. Like he got the power that Palpatine teased him with. I love that they solved that. They fixed that his whole arc, make it like made it like a little bit more better because that was such a good thing. And also, they've been doing a really good job with their expanded universe past the stuff, not the sequels, but like in between. Like Mandalorian's been,
all the in between stuff has been really good. Andor to me, still best Star Wars show.
Agreed. Yeah,
I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Mandalorian was good. I always say Mandalorian that first season is the best season, but
I agree.
Like we said, Andor really good. Mandalorian was good.
Ahsoka was great.
Bad Batch,
Bad Batch,
Ahsoka. The
Ahsoka.
last season of Clone Wars that gave us the Bad Batch. That's how we got Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
The only two that wasn't hitting is Obi and Boba. Two characters I love.
The thing about here's the thing, Obi-Wan series definitely wasn't hitting the way it was, but there were some elements that I did. It wasn't a entire waste of a show. There were some good elements. Getting that fight between Vader and Obi-Wan at the end of the series, where he literally tells Obi-Wan, "This wasn't your fault," like releasing him of that guilt. Yeah,
I did it.
I think that was a really good thing, and also just what they did with some of the things with some of the Inquisitors and stuff like that, answering a little bit of those things. But what was the other show you mentioned? My brain is.
Oh, Mandalorian 2.5, Boba Fett.
Well, yeah, Boba.
Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett was not it was not great. It was
Mandalorian 2.5.
It really was. Here's the thing. We're not. It's another podcast. We're focusing on Batman right now. We're gonna have a whole other podcast in here. I
mean, technically though, we're not too far away because Boba Fett is a clone.
He is, yeah.
We just threw that in there. So
we just threw a little extra spice in there because, to be honest, Bad Batch. There's a lot to talk about, but it was a great show. Like, there's not too many nitpicks that I feel like I have with it. I think maybe people's nitpicks would be like the fact that Tech didn't come back, and I'm glad he didn't come back. I love Tech, but I'm glad he did not come back because
I think that was a death that the show needed. To push the characters in like a direction for them to grow and figure this thing out. Because it's like you said, it felt like they were just drifting with the mission of the week or the heist of the week. And once they lost Tech, it was like, now we got to figure out our purpose in the galaxy and what we're here for, because he sacrificed for a greater cause, and we need to figure that cause out. So it really gave them that extra push that they needed to get stuff
exactly.
going.
Then they started like teaming up with Rex, which anytime Rex shows up in the series,
I love Rex.
Rex is amazing. Okay, Rex is that guy. Okay, like he is. Bad Batch is like one of my favorite of the squads, but like Rex is like an honorable
501st, man.
Yeah, his 501st is great. It's amazing, and I'm glad we got to see Wolf. I love Wolf. Wolf back. I love Wolf, man. Wolf is my dude.
wasn't Cody in the episode?
He was in the beginning. He was the one that questioned a
Yeah.
Crosshair and was like,
Mhm.
we're different from droids because we have to live with the choices that we make. He
Mhm.
put that out there, and that was such a good line that Crosshair needed to hear because that's when he started to make his change. That
Yeah.
was the moment when he realized, oh, if Cody's leaving and Cody's by the books, I need to
Then
question. I need to make some
yeah,
questions
I
and
did.
understand where my
Mhm.
place is.
Yeah.
And then he threw down that he kept saying good soldiers follow orders. And then it came back around in the last 3 episodes when he was questioned by what's his name, the guy that was leading over him in the first 2 seasons, the guy that they rescued from the prison.
Oh
Um,
man, I suck at
Rambart, right?
remembering
The
names.
Rambart?
Rambot, yes,
Yeah,
Rambot.
Rambart. Rambart questioned him.
Who
He's like,
got
oh
what he
wait,
deserved?
yeah, he got what he deserved for sure. I like that. That was some good justice. But he questioned him about, oh, don't good soldiers follow orders? And he said only to good leaders or something like that. Like he changed it to where it was like, no, I'm a good soldier, but only to a leader that deserves that respect.
Mhm.
And that's why I like a lot of these character moments. And I like that Wrecker's height thing it came around. It was consistent. Whenever they were in a
Yeah,
situation where he was in somewhere high, and that came around with Omega getting him out.
yeah.
He was like, oh no, Wrecker is like the coolest, strongest person I know, and he's afraid of heights.
He's afraid of heights. Yeah, so just don't look down.
So
Like
don't look down.
I love how they tie everything, and everything that's said or done is for a later purpose in the show. It's not just like
Exactly.
there for a filler. And I just think that's just like the brilliance of Dave Filoni and the
Hmm.
creators on the show. Like they get it. They get storytelling and they get Star Wars. And I also love, like I said with Andor and these other shows, how they're really showing like the ugly truth of the Empire. Like when we
Exactly.
when we got the original trilogy, we knew the Empire were the bad guys because they did bad stuff and all that,
Yeah.
and we heard stuff, but we never actually seen what happened. Like when we got Order 66 in Episode 3, we know it was bad, but we never seen the aftermath and what actually came after that and what happened to people. And it's man, the Empire is messed up. Like
Yeah.
they do some messed up things, man. Like the torture, the kidnapping, the
Hmm.
experimentation, conquering planets and being becoming dictators, threatening people to give up their leadership. I'm like, bro,
They were man, they were bad guys. Like they were the bad
bro,
guys.
what do like Star Wars fans call them, the space Nazis?
The
They
space
was like,
Nazis, they were the space fascists, the space Nazis.
"Jeez, man."
Because
But
like,
I like it because we got to see that part because a lot of times people are afraid to show how really bad like the bad guys are. You know, they shy
yeah,
away from it, and it's
and
like,
also
yeah,
we
now I don't like the Empire even more. You know.
exactly it adds extra levels to it, and also we needed to see a reason for why the rebels wanted to rebel or
Bro,
whatever.
cause like man, I was like, I will rebel against that crap too. Cause it's like, dude, you literally can't do anything. It's no freedom.
There's
It's
no
like,
freedom. Everything needed a code for something because we saw it in the Bad Batch. They
yeah,
had a code for you need a code to get out of a planet and this, that, the other. You need a code to do this, a code to
mhm.
do that. If you didn't have the clearance and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I can't even. Can I use the restroom
It's
without a clearance code? And also like the way that like separatists were teaming up with the rebels or the Republic.
yes, and I love how they were bringing all these Clone War characters into the show and showing
Hmm.
that because it's like, hey, we might have fought against each other for all those years, but now we're fighting like an even greater enemy, a greater evil, and they're trying to take us all out. So we got to find some common ground.
Because the common ground between the Republic or the rebels and the separatists now, or really they're real like separatists, like they said in the episode, was like they fought for the freedom of their people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And now that the Republic or what's left of the Republic is fighting against something that's oppressive, we have a common enemy. We're both fighting for freedom. That's what makes this a bigger fight, and makes
Hmm.
the enemy, like I said, the enemy your friend. So it was really cool. And also the funny thing is I like that not funny thing. The thing is I like that the beast from like the Clone Wars came back in the end.
Yes.
Like that
Yes,
big
like
beast that they
that big, yeah.
yeah.
He was wrecking up everything, no pun intended.
And the thing that they said about like his appearance in like the final episode is he came in like Godzilla. Someone
Yep.
compared him to like Godzilla and stuff like that. And I was like, that's a great comparison. Because he did come in like that. They just showed his like top of his head and stuff like that. And some
Yeah,
steam smoke and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's some Godzilla type stuff.
yeah.
I was good.
You know, you know who I thought was gonna get like a mention or like a pop up, or they kept talking about like it was gonna be a force. I thought Cal was gonna come in
They
somewhere,
could have. They could have done
and that
something.
would
They
have
could have done a
been.
little Easter egg or something.
But I did size Ventress coming back.
Yeah,
Basically, tell them that Omega is has the force.
yeah, she's force sensitive, and
Yeah,
maybe she's not force sensitive in the sense of Jedi-ish, but she's force
yeah,
sensitive
but
in the same way like
mm,
Han Solo is kind of
I was
force
like, it's
sensitive.
like, Han, you got
Yeah,
quick,
like where
you
like
got
he
quick
knows how to do these things
reflexes.
because the force moves through him in a different way than it does a
Mhm.
Jedi.
And I accept that. I can
Yeah.
accept that. Like everybody who has the force doesn't have to be a Jedi. You know.
No, and the thing is, like, people really wanted her to be like at the end of the series to be like an actual Jedi, and I was like, that's just not gonna
So
happen. And I didn't
she's a
want it to
clone.
happen. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
want that to happen. Force sensitivity is fine because it doesn't have to be in the way, like I say, a Jedi, but it's fine at the level it was at. And maybe they do a solo follow up series with Omega as the lead. Maybe
Mhm.
they'll go into that a little bit more, not into Jedi-ness or Force, but like
Yeah.
just her experiencing or having. Maybe she meets up with a soft interest again. We don't know. We don't know anything
Yeah.
about the
I'm
future. But but
I'm wondering how much time passed too in that
yeah,
last
that was a
shot.
hard one too.
Yeah, because I'm like, is she like 20s or is she like 18?
Yeah,
Like how old is she actually? Because clones they age a little quicker.
they have an
So I start,
accelerated like growth path, but I also wondered how much he grew before they meet the Bad Batch. Like how much progress happened from her being in the pod to like them meeting her. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like how much time
So
went by then? Because an
yeah.
accelerated clone accelerates to it at a pace so that they're adults.
Hmm.
Does
Yeah,
she have
and
a does she have a Boba Fett kind of thing where
yeah,
she
and that's
ages
what I was
normally?
thinking. She
You
might have the
know,
Boba
but
Fett
maybe she
thing.
does
'Cause,
because Boba Fett was like Alpha, was it? Or who was Alpha? No, Jango Fett was Alpha, wasn't he?
yeah,
Because
Jango
he's
Fett was
Omega.
the one. Yeah, I think
Okay,
Jango was the
yeah,
alpha.
I think that's how it works because his son was like not cloned. Not he was a normal. He was a clone, but like he was not
Yeah,
accelerated or anything like that.
yeah, he was not alter. He was an altered clone. Cause
Yeah. So yeah.
I was thinking because obviously we know they do live. They can live a long life because of course Rex and all
Rex
them
was at the
survive
end of
to
the
yeah all the way to Return of the Jedi. So it's like they can hang around for a minute. It's just how fast they are aging. So if we saying if she doesn't age fast like them, then she's probably I'm guessing it got to be at least 10 years because she talked about the rebellion. The
yeah, and
Bad
she
Batch
said
is
the
going on
rebellion.
right
Didn't she
after
say the
or
rebellion was starting?
yeah, so it got to be like 10 years.
10 years because Bad Batch takes place right after 3.
Six, yeah,
So
or the
between 3 and 4
66.
is some time.
Yes,
A
so
lot
it's
of
got
things
to be
happen
like
between
10
3 and
years.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's 19, right? I'd have to
yeah,
check.
it's yeah because let me see. Oh, the Kenobi series is 10 years
Yeah,
after episode 3,
and then I think
and so it's 9 years away from the battle, the first battle over the
yeah,
battle of Yavin.
but also I gotta
So
realize where does because Obi-Wan takes place in between 3 and 4, but so
mhm,
10 years. If we're thinking Omega, let's say Omega was like 8 in the Bad Batch for
yeah,
reference sake, then it would still technically be around the time of Obi-Wan the series. The what's in series? You said 10
yeah,
years.
yeah,
So she's got the rebellion's technically probably at its infancy stage when Omega goes and starts this thing. I'm just like I said, the timeline needs to be needs to be updated because like I need to know where Bad Batch
yeah.
kind
I
of fits,
gotta,
you know?
yeah, I just wanna just for some clarity, just to know like how far of a time jump? Because if she's
because
talking about the rebels,
she was like
is
the
it
rebels are
the
starting
early age?
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is it the very early stage, or is it like 2, 3 years, or is it
like
like
when they're just with.
is it during the show Rebels? Is it during that
Yeah,
time?
during the show Rebels, or is it like before that?
Because
Before they meet.
technically, if it's
But
during Rebels, then they will be a little older if we
yeah,
think about it, because Rex and all them.
they'd be around the age of Rex, right?
Yeah, and they didn't have it. He didn't have a full gray, so I'm thinking it's very early on
I'm
in
thinking
the.
it's around Kenobi, the series
Yeah,
Kenobi. I
it
think it's
gotta be
Kenobi.
because
I think it's Kenobi
Luke and them
series.
probably like still kids when she
Hmm.
going off.
Yeah, because Luke and them are around 4 when that's like when the rebellion is at its like most. It's
If
like
it,
it's picked
yeah,
up like really heavily at that point in time.
yeah.
And
So
we know by Andor that didn't really, like you say, they were still picking up during Andor season, and
mhm.
Andor
Man, I can't wait till season 2, bro.
season 2 is gonna be great because that takes place right up to Rogue One.
Rogue One,
Rogue
yeah.
One happens right before episode 4.
Hmm.
So Bad Batch takes place at the beginning of or right after episode 3 and ends around Kenobi. Or maybe around the time that Kenobi the series starts.
Hmm.
Because Vader is still even in his early days in that series. He's not.
Yeah,
He hasn't gotten his like original series like armor yet. He's still got some proto shit going on.
that's the prototype. Yes. So
So I'm thinking Bad Batch is before Obi or the Kenobi series, like right before or at the start of the Kenobi series. I'm gonna give it
yeah,
that.
because
Uh,
I think it's like that timeline is Bad Batch. I
mhm.
think Bad Batch and the Jedi Fallen Order game is happening all around the same time.
Yeah, just different parts of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because a
So
lot of
you
stuff
know what?
happens, I guess. Hmm?
I take that back, okay? Because in Jedi Fallen Order, remember Cal was a Padawan when 66
Oh
happened.
yeah,
And
he
then
was.
he grew up, so it was some time. It was a little bit of time passed, probably like what 8 years or
10,
something. They
10,
said,
10 years because he looked like he was like
yeah,
9 or maybe 8 or 9,
yeah, he was
maybe
like.
like
So I'm guessing that's when Omega. That's the time Omega when she's older. It's during that time, but Cal is having his whole arc. I
so. Do you
think it's
play
around.
the Fallen Order games same time as Obi-Wan or a little bit before
I
or
think
after?
that's the same time as Obi-Wan.
Okay, so they're all around the
Yeah,
same
matter
time,
of
just
fact, I think
different.
somebody said it because they was wondering if Kyle was going to appear in the
Oh
Kenobi
yeah,
series.
in Obi-Wan they wanted him to make a guest appearance, and
Yeah.
he didn't make a
Mhm.
guest appearance, and they're really trying hard not to combine the Fallen Order games with the actual universe. Like they're trying to keep it separate and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
But they're
whole
also
different.
like teasing like Star Killer and some
Dude,
other things.
dude,
You know,
I thought when he went into the room where they was having the secret project, I thought it was gonna be Star Killer, and I was like, bro, just bring him back, please.
just put them in. Just here's the thing. The reason why, well, I here's the thing. They can bring him in the universe, but rewrite his like
Yeah, don't
story,
make him as powerful.
or don't do anything from those games because that goes against a lot of the shit
Yeah,
in their lore. Do what you did with Saw Ventress and Ahsoka and Thrawn, where they're from Legends, but they have their own kind of
yeah, it's like
reworking.
some of the storylines you keep. Like with Thrawn, we having the heir to the Empire storyline, but
Yeah,
it's a different. Like he's not the exact same from the legends, like you
from the
said. Like
Legends, you can
you
rework his,
can
like I
do
said,
it,
rework his
'cause,
character.
bro. I am still upset with them for not having him in the Kenobi series at the end when
Yeah,
Vader. I was like, man, that was the perfect moment to have Star Killer come in, bro.
that was
But hey,
perfect. Here's the thing. I really want them to do. I really want them to bring back the Old Republic and have that as a series or a show or something like that. I think we're getting like High Republic for.
yeah, it's like we keep getting close, but not close. Like,
It feels High Republic feel like, I guess it's not a rebrand like of Old Republic, but it feels like they're like saying no, Old Republic don't
kinda.
exist. High Republic is
I feel like
stop.
that's what it is.
It feels like it's a rebrand, and I don't like it. I wish we would just get the old stuff but rework it, like
Yeah,
because it exists. You want to
Cause
touch
it
on it. You
feels
want to tease these characters like what's his
like
name,
Raven.
Evan and stuff like that. You want to tease them, but you don't want to give us a series like that. And
Dude,
we can
and
want to
it's
rant
so
about that for an
crazy.
hour, but
It's so crazy, bro, because the name of it just sounds so like fantasy, old medievals, like the Knights of the Old Republic. It makes you
yeah,
think, okay, the Jedi were like knights, so that means it was more
exactly.
than one, and they were fighting like Sith and Jedi war. Like,
See, the
I'm
thing
so
is,
tired of it just being one or two
yeah,
or three, and it's 10 Jedi fighting against one or two people, and they all still can't beat that
they
one or
all
two
can't
people.
beat this guy. I'm like, really?
Yeah. I'm like, bro, it would make a
Here's the
lot more
thing.
sense if we just get a whole like a good little war. That's all we want, bro.
That's all we want. Here's the thing, though. Like the Knights of Ren, which was a wasted potential. Let's just say that and pass it on. But you could have had that tie back into the Knights of the Old Republic. Them
Mhm.
super fans of that era, getting those that text or like getting that like legend, that lore, finding a like a the Sith whatever that found and being like followers of that, like their new brand of that. But we got people that kind of just were on camera, like looking at the camera. Oh, hey, we're here. We
They
you
had the
forgot about us?
they
No, we
was
didn't.
doing the 90s R&B group stance where they stand in the rain and look cool.
They stand on the side of a cliff or whatever, all looking menacing or whatever, or getting ready to sing or having
No.
a
I was like, whatever. But
yeah.
like we said with the show, there wasn't too many things you could nitpick, other than
No.
like we said, season 1 and 3 are the two strongest seasons. Because season
Yeah.
1 was so good because it was just so much at stake, and
It
then
was.
season 3, the towards the end, it felt like really high stakes. And then that's why I said like that last episode, it was high. And then it lost its momentum just a little bit. But I
Yeah.
see why they did it because they had to level it off to get that time jump. But I feel like I don't know what it is. I felt like it's something was missing from that last episode, and I don't know what it is, bro.
Like it just didn't it just felt like they like I guess like I feel like maybe they cut off just either they cut off a little bit so they didn't reveal like some project they got going on because they could have
Hmm.
easily had a Omega fly to the beginning of the rebels like their base or whatever like that kind
And
of
that's
set it
what I
up.
was thinking.
They
I
could have
think
done that.
I think it's like fans and as a storyteller yourself, you want to have like full clarity, but at the same time you understand that it's more to come and they can't give it
Mhm.
all to you at once. And I was just like you, like when she flew off, I was like, oh, we might get to see Mom Mothma or what's my boy, General Organa.
Yeah,
Bill. I was like, we're gonna get to see somebody from that actual Clone Wars era forming into the rebellion and all that. So I was like, it'll be cool to see that. And then but at the same time, I was like, who actually would it be? Like, because we don't know who they've connected with over the years. We just know the only connections they really had was with clones, and then was I think Saw Gerrera one time.
Saw Gerrera. Yeah,
Yeah,
Saw
Saw
Gerrera
Gerrera.
showed up, and they had their conflict because they
Yeah.
didn't agree with the way that he did stuff,
Mhm.
and it
So
is what it is.
it's like I was just curious to see like what relationships they've built throughout time. Because the reason why I was so like heavy on seeing it because this was the last episode of the like whole series. Like this was it.
Yeah,
So I was thinking like how they always have an epilogue for something. I was thinking like we was gonna get the episode, right? And then the
yeah.
epilogue episode like after to give us like the aftermath. And then I was like, oh, they finna rebel us and wait some years, and then we're gonna get a live action series. we're
All right, we're gonna get a live
gonna
action
get a
series,
Ahsoka kind of series where it's gonna tell
but
us what happened.
we're gonna get Omega, like a live action Omega or something like that,
Hmm.
and her talking with because they're already thing is that they're like on social media, of course, like they're talking about like seeing a live action Omega and this being a tie into that. And I would be cool, like I said before, I'd be cool with seeing early Rebel days. Like I want to
Yeah,
see, but well, maybe even a little bit before Andor, like the first. We need to
rebellion.
do something about
Yeah.
this empire and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I would love to see just get that in Andor though. So we get like early days. We get like all the official people going, hey man, these Empire people are something else. Let's have a round table about this. You know?
So I gotta ask you this then. So of course, since this is the last, not last, but this is what's ended for like the animated stuff.
Yeah.
What would be the next animated series you would want to see,
Huh.
or as far as what time period, what story arc, or is it in between a story, in between
Hmm.
some of the movies, or a show you want to see something? Like if you had the choice, right? If right now, if you was the
Oof.
guy at Disney, and they was like, "So, Dimitri,
Hmm.
where do you want to go next with our next animated series? What would you choose?"
That's a hard one because I want to do everything.
Exactly.
I
But
want to hit up all the spots.
you gotta choose one because this is gonna be your show that you run. While
Hmm.
everybody else can play in the sand. Everybody gets a chance to play in the sandbox. So you have to choose carefully because this is gonna be your baby.
Ooh, I want to see because at the end of Bad Batch, they tease like Rex and his whole thing that he's doing on the background. I'd
Yeah.
love to see what he does like for the rebels and how he picks that stuff up and how his story is because we don't really get to see his we get to hear about what he's doing, but we don't really get to see about like how he's gathering all these people together, how he's gathering all the leftover clones and stuff like that and starting stuff and just how that helps the bigger picture. Because after this, we don't really get to see him besides Rebels and at the end of
Mhm.
the last movie. But that's just me nitpicking because I'm just a Rex fan. So like anytime I get to see Rex, it's great. But or because we don't even get to see Wolf. Ugh. I'm sorry, I'm just clone heavy right now. Like, I'm too clone heavy right now. I just want to see too many of my boys projects, but because I don't really want to see anything Empire related because we get too much of that. I feel like
Mhm.
we got so much Vader stuff. I don't need to see any more Vader stuff. We can give Vader like a break for a little bit. Palpatine, he's good. Boba Fett, we got a most recent series. He's handled. Maybe even a soft interest. Maybe see where she goes with what's his name, the Jedi.
Oh, Quinless Voss.
Yeah, I want to see some stuff like that. Show me, like, because
Mm,
we don't need to see Han Solo. We don't need to see Lando. Their
yeah.
stuff is
What was
done.
it? Dark Disciples? Is that the story
I think it
that they
might
got?
be.
Yeah,
I need
Dark
to.
Disciples.
It might be Dark Disciples.
Yeah,
Hold
that
up.
would be a good series. So basically, you're going more towards the like still Order 66, pre-orders
Dark
after
Disciples.
66, and kind of leading up to like Rebels the series. Like you
Yeah,
want that timeline.
yeah. I really just want to get more about like early days because like we got
Yeah.
Andor and Andor is great. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
their move pieces are already moving. Then like we already got people of high officials
Yeah, you want to
saying
see the
stuff.
people that actually made the sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. Want to see like I
Yeah.
like a reason why I like what's it called? We said it earlier. It's called not Rebels, not it's what Andor is leading up to.
Oh,
My brain.
Rogue One.
We saw Rogue One was a great movie because it was the sacrifice of these people getting it. We saw how
Mhm.
the Death Star plans got there and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I really don't want to see anything in the sequel like before the sequel series because we got stuff for that. And I would love to see some old Republic stuff, but that's like throwing a dart at
So,
the wall and it missing, shooting out the wall.
so I gotta ask you this: since you're going with that era, could you put a name on that show? What would you name? Yeah, I'm throwing the
You throw,
haymakers at you
you
tonight,
throwing
man.
me haymakers because, geez, man, you throwing haymakers at me. You should have Let me think. Maybe I would say pieces of the Republic, but that's just like a spitball like name for it. But that ain't even like my A material. That's just me firing some things because like I don't know. Could you? I feel like what would your name for the series be? Because I feel like you got like a name
What would
already
you?
planned
What
out
was?
for it. Because
Um.
my title name was like, I could do better.
mm,
I need some more time. You caught me
so
off guard, man.
what is it? So if it's after 66,
Leading up
okay.
right before the rep, because we are talking about that, like pieces of the Republic. No, that's nice, but that's not a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Not a haymaker. Like we need like a Dark Disciples or a Rogue One, like those that you like know some stuff is
You
going
can
down.
say you can call it Ashes of the Old Republic. Disney, come on, bro. I'm a dude in Atlanta, Georgia, who's loved Star Wars my whole life. Just give me one shot. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, give us both a shot, dude. I'll
Yeah,
be a writer on that thing. I might not be a
you know what I'm
person that makes
saying?
a title, but I can write some
Hey,
stuff.
we
Like, let
got
me.
the ideas. So
Yeah, we got the big brain ideas here.
I was gonna say,
Ashes of the Republic is great. We got to put
isn't
that.
it? Hey,
Yeah,
we said it here
we
first,
said it
so
copyright.
we know where y'all got it from. I just want. I don't even want to get paid. I just want my name on something that
Yeah,
says
just put
Star
my name and
Wars.
put the name underneath there. Give me some royalties or something. Let me get a little royalty off it.
That's
You
all
know.
I want to see. So I would
How about
say,
you?
I would say mine is because I'm like you. I don't really care to see all the stories about what happens between the original trilogy
In the
and what
first order.
happens. Yeah, I'm not really down. I don't need to know all that. I would want to see. It's two eras, and I'm
Okay.
gonna knock it down to one. Of
Okay.
course, our favorite era, the old like Knights of the Old Republic,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about if we can even start from Darth Bane and the Rule of
Ooh.
Two
Yeah.
and get and I would stop it around like Revan and Malik,
Yeah.
kinda, and show how the Jedi formed the Order and stuff. Or we can go after this acolytes.
Yeah.
I would do a series leading up to episode one to
Okay. So like
show
early
like
Yoda.
because they teased me with Tales of the Jedi with Dooku, and when I
Yeah.
saw it, I was like, I want more. Like I want to see more Dooku now
Yeah.
and the young Qui Gon because I want to see more of that because Dooku is basically who Qui Gon like. You could tell that was his master when you seen that show, and that's why Qui Gon was like questioning the Jedi a lot, and it was
Yeah.
like, damn, they was actually right. But I would love to see more of this because I'm sure they weren't the only Jedi in the Order that were thinking like. Because they said a
Question
lot of
the
they
rule and
said a
how
lot
things
of
were going.
Jedi left the Order. So I would want to see that, and I would start it around. I would even want to start early as when Mace Windu was a Padawan, so we could
Yeah.
see like some early Mace, see
Dude,
what he
I want
went.
to see a show around him, like
That's what I'm
specifically.
saying.
Yeah.
Like it'll give you those opportunities to set up other things, and I think that's a part of Star Wars that really gets left on the table
Yeah.
because of how people reacted to Phantom Menace when it through the years. But before the Phantom Menace, I think it's so much story that hasn't been really told. Like as far as like us watching, because yeah, I know we got the books, we got the comics, but everybody don't read the books and comics.
And also, a
Because
lot of
some
those aren't even canon anymore. So
yeah, so it's give us that feeling because I'm thinking you started there so you
mhm.
can get to see young Qui Gon, young Mace Windu, you get to see Plo Koon, all those guys who are like prominent during the Clone Wars. You see
You see
them
the
in
early
like their
starts and how
yeah
they
they
came to be
rookie
who they
years.
are.
This is like seeing LeBron and them when they first started. You get that, and then it ends towards Dooku leaving the Order, Qui Gon meeting Obi Wan. It feels in that gap to show you get to see the relationships build and how we're where we're at during episode one. Even like the formation of the separatists, like you get all of
Yeah,
that.
all that,
That's
all
like the
the
stuff. And I'm gonna tell you this. That's why I love the prequels. A lot of people can talk about this part of it, but they really show you like the politics of it, like and what was
mhm,
going on. And I feel
yeah.
like that would be good for the politics. So as much as I do love Knights of the Old Republic, I would have to go with that. I would
Yeah,
have
I
to.
agree. But like when I agree with what I was saying. I agree with yours. And then do you? Because I know they introduced in Clone Wars the father, the mother, and the son and the daughter and all that stuff. That would
Hmm.
you want to see like how that even became a thing, like that concept or whatever? Would you want to see anything more from that?
In that show, and what I
Yeah,
was
like
just talking about.
like that. Because that's early stuff too. Because those are
Yeah, you
earlier
can even
signs.
you can even show who was studying it because also you can get you gonna get young Palpatine.
Yep.
You gonna see that. So it's you can answer like who was really studying that and who like early hints at it. Like it's
Because
so
like
much that you can explore in that amount of
yeah,
time.
exactly. Because I feel like in Ahsoka they were teasing a lot of the mother, father,
Oh yeah,
and the
definitely,
daughter and the son, but
definitely.
they didn't really go into like the mother who was like the evilest of the side of that force and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And they didn't even talk about her like that. And I feel like that would be that's a hard villain to map out
Yeah,
though. It's very
yeah.
much works in like lore legend,
Hmm.
like that stuff works in legend, but because Palpatine is bad, but though that character is even worse. Like that's a character that you just gotta. I don't know. I don't know how you would even. I don't know. Listen, we could make a script for it. We'll pay us some royalties, some money, or whatever you got to pay us. We'll come up with a script for it. We'll get you, Disney, if you're hearing this, because you
You are.
Marvel. I
Y'all
know you're
always
hearing
be
this
listening
too,
to us. Cause every time we say something, it pop up in one of y'all
right?
shows or something.
It'll pop up on the show, or like we'll talk something into literally existing. Like the next day, they'll have a show about what we talked about. So I feel like Marvel and DC, or not Marvel, oh, all of them are like tuning in, but not really
No,
giving
they
us
got
our
their ears
respect.
to the ground, listening to the square round table. We know y'all
Right?
out there.
We know where you at. We drop your name, you tune in. You got somebody like listening. We drop the word
Hmm.
Marvel and you got like 15 executives like listening to the
Those guys got some good ideas, but we can't give them
we
credit
we
yet.
can't
Not
tell
yet.
them. We
Not
cannot
yet.
tell
Not
them
yet.
that they have these ideas.
But yeah, man, I definitely would choose that era.
If there was anything that you could make canon again, what would you make canon besides what you mentioned? Is there anything else that you would make canon from like
Other than Star Killer,
yeah, other than Star Killer, other than Revan, other than those characters that aren't what's them? Is there any because you can't really bring in like Luke's story anymore. His stuff can't be
yeah,
brought in anymore. So you
yeah,
can't bring in his wife or anything like that. You can't do any of that. And his wife was badass.
yeah. Mara J would have been dope, but they
But we
brought
can't do
her.
that anymore because
You can't.
I guess you can, but you have to kill her off like immediately.
Yeah,
And there's no
yeah.
point in doing that. Bring her in to kill her off.
Honestly, bro, that's the stuff that we name is what I want to see canon. Honestly,
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I feel
because
like now
everything
that
else that's like real big is they got the canon treatment, like Thrawn,
hmm
Luke starting the new Jedi Order. What else was it? Oh, the whole thing with some of the stuff from Order 66, like after Order
hmm
66, some of that became canon.
Yeah, I saw
Certain
Ventress being
characters,
coming back into
yeah.
the fold and stuff like that, which I think that was most surprising is like her stuff coming back into the fold. But is there anything from that became canon from the bigger moments that you were surprised we got?
Oh, definitely Thrawn.
Okay, I thought so because like when I said the question in
Yeah.
my head, I was like, he's gonna say
I
Thrawn.
remember when
I would
when
think
we
that.
was watching Rebels and it came out, and I was like, "Oh wow, they actually did it! They actually freaking did it!"
They actually
Like
just dropped it right in there,
that dude is just cold blooded, man. Give him a freaking series.
right? Give him like our early
He
series.
probably is gonna get the
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the Heir of
movie.
the Empire. Yeah.
And then we can definitely get that Anakin early Anakin Thrawn like tie-in thing that they
Mhm.
keep hinting to because like in the series of Ahsoka, when he heard Anakin, he was like, "Oh,
He's like
okay."
Skywalker. Oh shit! It's
He
his
said, "Okay,
apprentice.
then we gonna have to turn this to 11."
Yes, man. But yeah, so I think we talked about some great stuff. We summed up a great series that
Yeah, a great
we're
series.
sad. We're very sad that it's gone because it was such a treat
It was. It was
to
such
watch
a
it
treat.
like we always do. I think you already gave it a score, but now that we're talking about it,
Yeah.
we discussed some things and future possibilities. What would you rate this show out of what is it?
I'm
Out of 10?
yeah,
No,
Tim. I'm
let's say out of 5. Out of 5 stars, what you gonna give it?
okay. If we're doing 5 stars, I did in my on social media. I posted an 8 out of 10, which I guess would be a 4 out of 5. But
Or
I'm
yeah,
bumping it to a like a 4.5 out of 5
yeah,
because
I think so too.
it deserves
4.5.
that point five being a great series and how it ended and how I've had a time to process it and like what it did. And the fact of the matter that I was actually happy that none of them died, nobody else died. because
Yeah, that gave me
we
some
really
clarity. I wasn't
needed.
ready for that.
I wasn't either. We really needed a good, soft, happy ending because we don't really get that a lot in a lot of series.
No.
Like the Clone Wars ended in tragedy. So
Mhm.
I was already ready for the tragedy. I was already ready. I was already thinking, okay, Omega's
Yeah.
dying or somebody else is dying because
Somebody, yeah.
Palpatine didn't get what he wanted. So either Omega's dead or the Bad Batch is done. Something big is gonna happen. Someone's
Mhm.
gonna fail somewhere. Because when she went back, I was like, oh no, they setting up to kill off somebody. So I was
Bro,
happy
I
that
was
they
so
all got to
nervous.
decide to live a
Yeah,
peaceful life and get out of
yeah.
the war. For
And
what we
that's
know.
like you said, yeah, and like you said, we don't get that often, you know.
Exactly. We don't get those kind of happy. You do in the end of the original series, of course, because it's we beat the big bad,
Mhm.
but and even in between before or like when the empire is at its highest, we do not get good happy endings. So it's good that they got to, for the most part, unless in a follow-up series they decide to go back into the fray because Omega gets kidnapped or something like that. Because they did say that they would be back in there if she needed help. So
Mhm.
for now, they have a happy, peaceful life or whatever. They got to decide that. So I'll give it a 4.5 or 8.5 out of 5 or 10, whatever the ranking is.
Same here.
Yeah, it was a good ride. The ending half of this, the back half or the other half of the final season had me just like on the edge because I was like, I know things are gonna wrap up. I don't know how it's gonna wrap
How
up
it
because
is. Yep.
there was so much going on, so much at play, so many different pieces, and it felt like a lot of people just had red flags or their death flags attached to them
Mhm.
going into the final series. I saw Crosshair with a death. I saw even Hunter. I thought Hunter might die, failing to get Omega, or Omega might, because we know he didn't succeed. Like I said before, we know Palpatine didn't succeed because he would have been back earlier. He would have came back right after the end of the originals
Mhm.
if he already had it. But yeah, you rated the same thing and as me.
Yeah, I give it a
Same reasons, or like you have anything else to add?
yeah, I give it a four.
Oh,
4.5 out of
okay,
4.5 out of 5. And like I
okay.
said, I told what my biggest thing was. I just felt like just a little bit missing. And then if season two was a little stronger,
Yeah,
if it was
season
a
two
little,
was stronger.
yeah, if it was a little consistently strong, because it got strong toward the end. But if it was consistently stronger, I would have gave it a 5. But it was just
Yeah, I think season two was where that 0.5 came from, but it wasn't like it was. I guess you could say Clone Wars did it too, but it wasn't on a level where we had like an entire season of just
hmm
nothing happening because we you have
yeah,
those moments in Star Wars where you're just getting fluff. You're getting
yeah,
like, oh, we're filling up to a 2 episode because every single time like we mentioned, like me and you talked about it, every single time they drop 2 episodes, we know something big's happening.
we
They don't
know
just
some
drop
the
big
big
two
bangers.
episodes for nothing.
Yeah, the big banger coming out of that one.
So we were
So
like, okay, peaceful episode, and then like the heavy hitter because that's how
yep.
they do it. So 4.5 is a great rating.
Yeah,
Um,
4.5. And
I hope.
also, I was just gonna say also, if y'all haven't watched any of the shows that we mentioned, go watch them.
Hmm.
Everything, of course, is on Disney Plus.
Yep.
All the shows, and then you got the. It just came out with Tales of the Empire, which is like a follow up to Tales of the Jedi, which are quick watches because they're only like 15, 12 minute episodes.
Yeah, they're
So
very short.
if you need to scratch that Bad Batch itch now that it's
There's
gone,
nothing for you
go,
there.
yeah, go watch that.
And also, we will be reviewing that soon, so stay tuned.
Yes, and also since we're gonna review that, we might as well just throw Tales of the Jedi in there because it came
Okay.
first. We
Yeah,
didn't do a
we
review
didn't
for
do
y'all, so
no.
we'll put the two together so we can like compare and contrast,
And
see
also
how they
expound
match up.
upon what we talked about because we did mention the first tales in this episode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, like I
We
mentioned,
lightly
Dooku and
talked
Qui
about it,
Gon.
so
Yeah,
we'll
so
expound upon it in the review of both tales.
yes.
Um, so look forward for that. Keep your ears out for that because it will be coming your way pretty soon. So, any final remarks you have? Anything you got else to say?
Oh man, I think I said enough
I
and
think we
everything
we
I
we,
could.
we smashed that.
Yeah. D as always, take it on away with that shameless. Hold on. I got it this time.
Okay, all right, ready.
Shameless promotion of Dmitri.
Hey, yay! Hit him with a little bit of Palpatine.
The Palpatine. Do it, Dmitri.
Do it. If you want to view this episode and our future episodes, you can hit us up on the squareroundtablepod.fandomlib.com. We'll be uploading those pretty regularly. And if you want to see both of us talking to you on the screen visually, then you can hit us up on YouTube at the Square Roundtable Podcast. I think it's Square Roundtable Podcast. And like, comment, subscribe. Leave us a comment under there about anything we talked about, how you feel about the series, The Bad Batch as a whole, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, or Kenobi, it's called. The games, Old Republic, the Old Republic, the High Republic, the sequel series, not Bad Batch, what's it called? Mandalorian, or the Mandalorian 2.0, or tell us all your opinions on those things. And also follow us on our socials, our Instagram, that X, I almost called it Twitter, X. And I'm not even gonna mention that pesky Facebook group because y'all don't.
Yeah, we tried with that.
Soon a Discord is coming. Soon,
man, working hard on that.
Yeah. It's on the work. It's in the works. And catch us on a Rap Nerd on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes. Shout out to Rap Nerd.
Y'all shout out to Rap Nerd. Thank you for the support. We appreciate all the support we get from Fandom Limb, from YouTube, from social media platforms. All of our viewers that
we appreciate the love.
Tune in, that follow us on social media. We appreciate you, and we will bring you more content in the future. So look out for that.
Also too, comment, tell us what shows y'all would like to see, like just what we did. Just comment and let us know what kind of ideas you guys have. And also, as we always do, want to just give a big shout out to our other two members, Chad and Josh, the Singleton brothers. Wishing them all the best. And Chad out there, I know y'all been seeing it. We've been posting it. He killing it right now with the voice acting. Congratulations.
Horror writing.
On his publishing, becoming a writer. He lighting the fire for a lot of us, especially me, to start getting my stuff out there. So we just want to give him a shout out and congrats.
He's putting down some heavy stuff. He's putting out, like I said,
while trying to get his doctrine. So
big hitting right here.
Flowers.
Exactly. So
And with that, Demetrius, go ahead and take us home, man.
And I've been your host, Dmitri.
And I'm your host, Marcus.
And this has been the review of the week, the Bad Batch edition. And with that, peace.
We are out.
Do it.
Do it. You must watch the Square Round Table now.